Hello, and in this video tutorial I will show you exactly how you can create an explainer's video story with Keynote. Okay, so once you made the purchase, you will receive the download link, and when you download the project, you'll find the zip. All you need to do is just to extract that zip file, and after that you'll find the following folders. You'll find a folder called Animated GIF, Keynote project, PowerPoint project, and tutorial. Now we're gonna take a look at the following projects: the Keynote project, and we also look at the animated GIFs. Okay, so for Keynote, the first thing you want to do is open the Keynote project, and there you have another folder called Graphics. Okay, and you can open up one of these pre-made stories. Let's start with the first one, pre-made story number 1. Double click on this, and I already have this open, and here you can see basically the entire story, the entire explainer story in Keynote. So all the animations are pre-built, and the good part about this is that you can change absolutely everything, from the timing to the text to the icons to the background colors, and I will show you exactly how to do all of these. And of course, at the end I will also show you how to export a video using your own voiceover directly from Keynote without using any other additional software. Okay, so there are a couple of things that I still want to show you. In the folder you have here something called Graphics. So when you open this up, this is a Keynote project that contains all of the image graphics that we've included in this template, and they are organized in specific categories. For example, these are office items, these are money and currency related items, and so on. So when you want to use any of these, all you have to do is click on the one that you'd like, right click, and copy it to your main project. Copy it to any kind of a slide in your Keynote project. You can just paste it in like this here. And of course you can change the size of this and so on. Okay, so let's delete that for a second. Now you actually have more. You also have something called the GIF, animated GIFs. So you need to go to the animated GIF folder, click on that, and here you see a long list of animated items. Now these are GIF animated files. They are sort of like a small video file that you can easily work with. Now, how to preview these? Well, all you need to do is just click on them, and you'll see that these GIF animations are looping like this. And yeah, you can read the names, and you'll see when you click on them, you'll see that you get a preview, right? So these are really useful because all you need to do to use them is just drag and drop them on your slideshow. Okay, I'm gonna drag and drop this here, and you can see here we have the hand with that iPad and we make it smaller like this, and now you're gonna have an animated icon here. Good. So now you know how to add elements to your slideshow. And of course, if you want to add an image, if maybe you have your own logo, maybe you have a picture that you want to add, it's very easy to add any image in Keynote. So for example, I have an image here on my desktop. I just drag that image directly to the slide that I want it to sit in. Okay, so I scale this image down, and there you have it. We have added an image. This is how you add your own image or logo to your slideshow. Okay, so I'm going to delete this right now, and the next step is that we want to create a story. Okay, so the easiest way to create a story is just to plan out what you want to show, plan out the text that you want to have appear on your presentation, and of course then just add the graphics one by one to them. Okay, so you can use the story that we have here, you can change stuff in it, you can actually just take all of the slides and you can actually just right click and delete them if you don't want to use them. Okay, so another important thing, how do you change the background? Maybe you want to have a different background here. Well, in Keynote this is very, very easy. You just click on the background and go to format, and if you don't have this, if you click here on format, this tab will appear. Now you select a color that you would like. So let's choose this orange. Okay, so the next step is that you want to add, let's just delete the animations that we have here. Okay, I'm gonna just use the delete key on my keyboard. I'm gonna delete actually also the text. I'm gonna let this one stay. I'll delete this GIF animation for now also. Okay, so let's say we have an important title. Okay, so we have the text. Now, what happens when you want to change the size of the text or you want to change the color of the text? So you just need to click on the text layer, click on format, and then go to text. And at this point you can change the size. So you need to change the box that is containing this text, also the size of it. Otherwise it's going to be your text will appear this way. Okay, so let's change that. Next, maybe you want a different color. Well, all you got to do is go here and select a different color. Okay, so we got that done. Of course, this is where you change the font. Let's say we use this font. Let's just go back. The other one was better. Okay, so this is how you play around with the text. Now let's add some characters here. Okay, let's add this guy. I'm gonna just right click and copy, and right click and paste. Okay, let's make the character bigger. Okay, and also let's add some kind of a GIF animation here. I like this one, so you can just drag and drop it to the timeline here. Okay, to the slideshow. So let's make this smaller. So okay, now you can position the image properly here, so you're aligned with the other item. And let's see how this will look. Okay, so good. So this is how you construct a scene. And if you want to duplicate this, you just go here and right click and click on duplicate. And now you have duplicated the scene. And of course, you can change the order of these slides. So you can just take this and put it to the next, under the next slide by drag and dropping these slides. Okay, so let's continue. So to add animation, all you got to do is select the image or the text that you want to animate. In our case, I'm going to select our friend here, and you click on the format tab. Actually, you click on the animate tab here on the right corner at the top. And there you have three different kinds of animations. You have build in, you have action, and you have build out. Now, for our purposes, and in 90% of the cases, you only want to use the built-in animation. You can also use the rest, but the built-in animation will be the most important one. Okay, so how do we animate this little fella? How do we animate him? Well, you need to click on Add an Effect, and here you have a lot of effects. And the good thing about Keynote is that you can easily preview these effects. So let me show you one that's gonna be very useful. Fade and move. Okay, click on preview and you're always gonna see how this effect will work. You have fade and scale. you have wipe, you have move in, and let me show you some interesting ones. You have this one called anvil. This is really good. And then there's something that I really like is this sparkle effect, and then this flame effect. This is also well, quite intense but useful. So then you have a couple of other ones. The pop effect, that's also important. Click on this and you can use this one, and you can play around with the rest of the effects also. These are the effects that I recommend that you use most often. Okay, maybe not the flame one, but the pop, the fade and move, and the anvil effects look really good. Okay, so in our case, I'm gonna start with fade and move. So click on fade and move. Okay, now what you can do is you can adjust the direction where you want your character to come from. So now it comes from the left, but maybe I want the text, the face to come from the bottom. Okay, so bottom to top. Okay, preview. That's it. Okay, now you can make the duration of this animation shorter or longer. Let's make it shorter. Something like this. And of course, you also have something called order. So when you have multiple elements that you animate in your timeline, on your slide, well, you gotta set the order. Which one will arrive? Which one will be animated first? And in this case, this one is number 3, and let's see, this one is number 1, and this one is number 2. And you can change the order. Maybe you want the bank with the money to appear first, so you can do that. That's how simple it is. Okay, so now let's animate the text. Now, when you click on the text, well, we have some effect already on it, but we can change that. So let me show you something unique for text. You have this effect called typewriter. Okay, and this looks elegant and simple. I recommend you use on some text lines this. Or of course you can also use fade and move, or you can also use anvil. But in our case, I think fade and move will look best. And of course here you can change the order of things. Let's see, how does this look? This looks great. Okay, you can change the speed. Okay, let's make this faster. Too fast. Okay, so this is how this works. And what's really great about text animation with this effect is that you can animate the text by object. So you animate the entire text line, or you can animate them by word, which looks great, or you can animate them by character, which I think is a bit over the top. So I'd stick with object if you don't have a lot of time to show the text and you want your viewers to be able to read it, or with word. Okay, so that's it for the text animation. And now, how to animate a GIF animation? Basically, Keynote sees GIF files as a movie file, so you can change the animation. So the movie will play, and you can also add an effect, an appearing effect, an intro effect to this. So let's just use the let's see, pop. We could use the pop, but in this case, you know what? We're gonna use the let's use the fade and move one on this one. Okay, and now I want it to come from the right side. Let's preview this. Okay, so now at this point I've animated all of the elements on this scene. So to preview how everything looks, I just click on the play button, and now of course nothing happens. So to make something happen, you gotta push the space bar, you gotta push maybe the you can also use your mouse and push the mouse click your mouse basically, or just use your back and forth arrow keys. I'm gonna use my back and forward arrow keys. So you have the text, I'll push it again, and then you have the bank, and I'll push it again, and then you have our friend appearing in the scene. Now, if I push the forward arrow again, we will transition to our next slide. Okay, so by the way, transitions I will also show you. So at this point, we know how to animate text, we know how to animate images, and we know how to add a GIF animation. So next, we're gonna add a transition effect. Now in Keynote, you have a lot of options to do transitions. Now, to be able to add a transition effect, you need to deselect everything. So you should not select any of these elements, because then that's what you're gonna animate. Okay, so don't select anything. Make sure that you select only the slide itself. The easiest way to do that is to click on the slide in here in the left column. Okay, so now we're gonna add an effect. Okay, and you have a lot of effects here. You have this one, which directly it's called magic move. Well, it looks like a fade to me. You have other ones like these. Okay, yeah, you have push and move. This is useful. So when you're doing these animated explainers, you don't want to do very crazy effects. You want people to be able to read the text and follow your story. But yeah, okay, wipe, this is useful, let's say. So not too much, so you can change this. Let me show you the ones that I really like. So you have here pivot, flop, no, flip. This is useful. And here at the bottom, you have a couple of interesting, really interesting effects. So you have this object effect. So when you push this, actually the objects will look like they transition to the objects from your next slide. So this is useful. Okay, object flip. This is very useful. Okay, so this can also look, this looks elegant in your presentation. You know, a transition like this looks elegant. This one is also good. So this one not so much. So these effects are really useful, and you'll create like imagine like when you use these effects, like your video presentation will get a level of sophistication to it, right? It will look like you've used some kind of super advanced animation software where you're actually just using Keynote and our template. So we have some other effects too, but these are more for text effects. Okay, so stick to these effects and maybe a couple of these. So that's how you create a transition from, let's say, slide 1 to slide 2, or slide 3 to slide 4 in our case. So that is how you create transitions. Okay, so now it's time to show you how you can record your own presentation and export your video. Okay, so in PowerPoint, you want to go and first of all delete the slides that you don't need. For example, the first slide, you don't want this to show up in your final video. You just click here and click on delete. And after that, you got to make sure that you select the slide that you want to start with. So I'm going to start with this one, and I will click on play. And first I'm going to click on clear recording in case there was any kind of other recordings that we don't need. Now I'm going to go back and click on play and click on record slideshow. Okay, so what's happening now? I see it here, two screens. Well, in the middle screen, I mean the left screen, you will see what actually PowerPoint Keynote is recording. So what will happen here is that Keynote will record the the timing of your presentation. So let's say you want the title to appear, you want to say a couple of words, and only after that you want the icons or the images to appear. Well, you can do that, and the timing you control with your keyboard. So all you gotta do is push the space bar or the next arrow key on your keyboard. Okay, now what's this thing in the right side? Well, Keynote helps you because it will show you what's the next element, what will be the next element if you push a button on your keyboard. Okay, it will show you what will be revealed next. Okay, so the other important thing is here in the left at the bottom, you can see my microphone. When I click record, Keynote will record my voiceover and it automatically will sync it to my presentation. Okay, so as I speak and present my presentation, Keynote will record this entire process. Okay, so when later we export the video, the video will have perfect timing. Okay, so let's begin. I'm gonna start recording the audio. Okay, I'm gonna click now the next arrow key. So this is an important title and the title will be here. So let's make the bank appear with the money and let's make a friend appear also. Okay, so now we're gonna transition to a blue background. Awesome. Okay, now we want some text, some more text. Two guys and girls with a globe in the background, okay, and so on. So this is basically the rest of the presentation. And yeah, this is how the presentation works. And here you would have like a crush your competition, voiceover, eliminate all opposition, line, and you can say whatever you want here and then click next and the rest of the stuff will appear. Okay, so let's assume that we have finished the presentation and now I'm gonna click on this red button here again. Okay, so what happened? Now let's say now you can see here, you can preview what you've done. We preview the timing and your voiceover. Okay, I'm gonna click now the next arrow key. So this is an important title and okay, so I can hear my voiceover and I can also see the slides. So maybe you made a mistake somewhere and then you can just delete this and start again and do the presentation again or correct your mistakes. Here you have the slides that are changing at the bottom here. Okay, so let's assume we've done a perfect job and recorded our voiceover with our presentation. And then all you need to do is click on this X at the right top. Okay, and now this is really simple. Now you just go to File and click on Export. And you want to make sure that you export to movie. Okay, click on export to movie. And at this point, you want to go to, well, full HD. Okay. And then all you got to do is make sure that the playback is set not to self-play, but slideshow recording. Because this way, the movie, the video that we will export, will be exactly the same. We'll have the exact same timing as the presentation that you've created. Okay, so let's click next. Okay, I'm gonna just add this to my desktop, call it test, and click on export. So now we gotta sit back and wait a little bit until the movie finishes exporting. Okay, so our video is ready, sitting on our desktop. So let's open it up. I'm gonna use QuickTime to play it. And here we have the video. I'm gonna play the video now. Okay, I'm gonna click now the next arrow key. So you remember at the beginning of the presentation, I was instructing you how to push the arrow key and so on. Okay, so that's why at the beginning we have that. So this is an important title and the title will be here. So let's make the bank appear with the money, and let's make our friend appear also. Okay, so now we're gonna transition to a blue background. Awesome. Okay, now we want some text. So basically, the audio and the video, I mean the video and the text, the characters, the drawings, the effects, all is automatically synced to the voiceover that we've just recorded. So you can see how easy it is to create a video inside Keynote, and you don't have to worry about the timing of your video, because you control everything with your finger. You just make sure that you push the space bar at the right time and say the right words at the right time, and that's it. So all of the burden of animation, all of the burden of making complex animations and learning complex animation software has been lifted from your shoulders, and you can just focus on your business, you can just focus on your message and on creating as many beautiful explainer videos, animated videos as you need. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope this was useful.